Hey guys, what is up? NYK31 here. Gonna be talking some Madden 20 beta. This is an old Madden 19 game. Since the Madden 20 beta, you'd have to be insane to go back to play Madden 19 for whatever's left of Madden 19. And and that's really, I would say, one of the main triumphs of the Madden 20 beta was the fact that it made this game impossible to go back to play. This game was like from a month ago. This is a longtime follower of mine who I happened to run into in a weekend league game. Luck of the draw. But anyway, let's talk Madden 20 beta. And people have been leaving their feedback. I think the feedback forum is still open if I'm not mistaken. I left a rather lengthy post in the forum. Thanks for all of y'all who upvoted that. Of course, the more upvotes, the more eyeballs see it. And, you know, with a beta that it was this open, not all feedback posts are created equal. That's just the nature of the beast. But by and large, I was pretty satisfied with most of the feedback that I saw. I put a link to a Google Doc where I basically copied and pasted what I posted on the forum. For those of you who don't have access to the feedback form, you can take a look at that and read it. And I'll touch on some highlights of that when I talk about the beta in general. I can basically sum up um, how successful this beta was by the fact that people are having debates regarding certain aspects of Madden that people haven't had debates about regarding the game in God knows how long. You got people talking about whether a pocket passer is overpowered, whether Tom Brady is the best player in the game. When was the last time you ever heard online players, people who play online head-to-head, debating whether or not a pocket passer is the best quarterback in the game? When was the last time you heard people debating whether or not the pass rush is too good, or whether a certain coverage is too effective? The fact that those are the types of discussions that we're having this time around tells me that we're moving in the right direction. Now, is the beta perfect? Is it the most optimum version of the game that I think can be released? No. Are people who are saying that it's just the same game, there's no difference, it's still, this, that, and the other? Is that accurate? No. The truth always lies somewhere in the middle. I think the beta does a lot of things well. I think there's some pretty, significant problems also that need to be ironed out. As far as what's good about it, there's an awful lot there. One, first of all, the game just moves so much smoother, so much better. The player movement is really, really good. It's a really big jump from Madden 19. The game, to me, flows an awful lot like NCAA football. Has a very NCAA type feel to it. Remember the video I made a couple weeks ago where I was talking about how smoothly you can hit what happened to be a quick spot concept? I was able to hit the route quick, on the move, head up field, and it was just nice, smooth, and fluid. That's the feel that I got with this game. The short to intermediate passing game, receivers are getting into their routes really quick, breaking sharp, you can throw on the cut. Really well done as far as that goes. Players felt really fluid and explosive to me. You get a guy into space, it really feels nice. I felt my user control was good as well. The thing that people are going to have to, adjust to is that you're not going to be able to get away with or get bailed out with breaks in the ball and on receivers when you're not in position. You're not going to be able to pop and warp into position. If you're behind a play, you're going to stay behind. The ball can be thrown over your head. You can actually throw a ball in between a hook defender and a deeper lying defender. I had a play in a game online where I was running a shallow cross, and my opponent, with his user backer, came in. He was behind my receiver. He tried to go for what he thought was going to be a pass breakup, but because he was out of position, he got that out of position animation. His linebacker whiffed, 20-yard catch and run. Beautiful, really well done. The only issue is that longer developing routes, there's still a lot of legacy, lollygagging going along, and on some longer developing route concepts, combined with auto chucks, where the receiver will get knocked off his route arbitrarily or automatically, regardless of who he is. Like if I'm running a levels concept, what will happen is that either my number 2 or my number 3 receiver, usually the number 3 guy, he'd get knocked off his route a good 3 to 5 yards, which will impede with the other in that's coming in, and they both get stuck together. It doesn't matter if it's Julio Jones or a league average receiver. They both get chucked and knocked off their route the same, without regard to who's doing the chucking and who's doing the route running. When in reality, a better receiver, he's not going to be allowing himself to get redirected at will like that. If a Julio Jones wants to get to a spot, more often than not, he's going to get there, unless you have a really elite guy. And even then, he's going to have his hands full because, he's freaking Julio Jones. So that kind of stuff needs to go away, especially if the pass rush is going to stay close to what it is. Now, as far as the pass rush is concerned, the only issue that I have with it is that guys are insta-winning too much when it comes to the X-Factor pass rushers. Now, what's good and what needs to stay is that the days of having, say, one drag on the field and 3 routes 30 yards downfield to choose from, those days, based off of the beta, are pretty much gone. You couldn't do that. If you were, running an offense like that and, you couldn't get to either the first or second progression and you had no intermediate route in between the shallow cross and the deeper crossing routes, you were going to end up in 3rd and 40 really, really fast. That part is good. What you can't do in this game is read high to low and back high again. You're not going to get to that 3rd high read. You got to have well-spaced routes out there at, your high, your intermediate, and your, check down area. My only issue is I don't like the rate of insta-wins. Offensive linemen, good ones, they don't get beat clean off the line at the rate that they do with the X-Factor guys. The only guys who get whipped like that are guys who are backup, replacement level, or practice squad caliber players. A guy like David Bakhtiari, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, Marshall Yanda, those guys are not getting just annihilated off of an initial move as often as I saw it happening to them. I think the rate of instant wins is just a smidge too high. There's a reason why you pay those people. There's a reason why left tackles make $1 zillion. When you look around the league, the highest paid players are who? Your quarterbacks, your stud wide receiver, your elite tackle, your elite edge rusher or interior rusher, your corner, and or dynamic playmaking safety. Now, I have to be conscious of them. Like, for example, when I played against the Rams online, I would make sure that I had my back to the side that Aaron Donald was on. I would check to see first whether Aaron Donald was in a 3 technique where he was going to be in a one-on-one, or if he was lined up as a nose, and then protect myself accordingly. And, I would keep him in check from time to time. He'll bust through and make some plays here and there because he's Aaron freaking Donald. But if you use your noggin and you get the ball out, you'll do okay. If you don't, an X-Factor guy like Cameron Jordan, when I use the Saints, will have a 5-sack game. And I sacked a lot of guys who I played 4, 5, 6 times. Because when those guys get into the zone, it's over. You're not going to be able to function. So again, I would only look at the rate of instant wins off the line and how frequently double team pass blocking is being split. Other than that, I will leave it alone. There are still plenty of issues with coverage. The pass rush, I actually think, is masking a lot of that right now. I think people aren't quite paying attention or enough attention to some coverage issues. Let me talk about man coverage for a moment. Off man is still pretty brutal. Off man does a pretty good job against the RPO game. And again, off man, you're going to expect that the quick game will be open underneath. Your quick hitch, your curl, your quick slant, your shallow cross, and all that. The idea of off man is that when you read quick game, you trigger, you close on it, you try to limit, damage yards after the catch. The issue with, off man is that, one, leverage doesn't hold on anything past the quick game. The way off-man you'd play in real life is that, again, you wouldn't backpedal and give cushion right away because you're lining up with that cushion to begin with. You'd read quick game. If no quick and the receiver threatens vertical, you try to stack his route. The problem is leverage doesn't hold very well in off-man. So what happens is that um, the corner, he has a tendency to drift on vertical routes like he's strafing in zone coverage. And again, leverage is played very, very poorly in off-man. I ran a whip route with Quincy Enunwa versus Jalen Ramsey and beat him by 5 yards, which is insane. Press man, I think, is a little bit better than it has been in years past, but certainly not overpowered. Anyone saying that man coverage is overpowered is just wrong. There's plenty of ways to beat man coverage. Zone match coverage, a lot of trips issues, a lot of weird trips checks. A lot of trips checks don't seem to be inexistent at the moment. Some are buggy and some appear to be deliberate design decisions, which I'm not too thrilled about. I'll have to see how that shakes out with the final release of the game before I go into that. You guys know how I do. I'll go into in-depth coverage breakdowns pretty much right away. It's one of the first things that I do. I collaborated with Zach, aka Beast Mode for MVP, on Twitter on a feedback list of coverage issues. I'm not in love with how they decided to defend RPOs, which I kind of saw coming, just based off of the mechanics of the game and how the game is programmed. When the game comes out, I'll demonstrate how RPOs are supposed to be defended in real life and how the game translates that. The alert and the read RPOs are the more or the most potent out of the three. I'm not really in love with the peak run pass option. I think the alert and the read are much more powerful and pose much more of a problem as far as being able to defend. And there's also legacy issues with force defenders against stretch and toss. Your apex defender and your 4-3 and 3-4, they're again aligned too tight and they don't play with outside leverage. So what happens is that you have guys like Zach Ertz being able to wall off Von Miller, which, wouldn't happen in a million years. So yeah, it's a mix, which you'd expect for basically a demo. I will say that this version of Madden 20, just this beta, it's better than any version of Madden 19 we played. That I can say definitively. I have zero qualms with stating that whatsoever. And I think as of right now, its biggest success is that it's changed the conversation of how people are approaching playing the game. People are talking about pocket passers. People are being conscious of having to make sure they're not leaving an elite pass rusher one-on-one. They're talking about which X factor traits they like and what they want to have or looking to have on their players based off of how they want to play the game. That kind of stuff is good. But we still got some stuff to clean up. But overall, I think that if the game releases to close to the state that it's in with the beta, with some cleanups done, I think that we'll be in a good spot. We just got to be on the alert for Johnny Casual and Timmy Credit Card. Johnny Casual is going to be in 3rd and 40 because he's going to be coming out trying to run deep crossers with no checkdowns. And he's going to be in 3rd and 40 and he's going to be crying. Timmy Credit Card is going to be running for his life and running to Twitter after he's bought his 4th pack bundle of the month and complaining that he can't function because he doesn't have any linemen that can block. He just has all skill guys and no offensive line. So that kind of stuff is coming, and we got to hold fast and beat them back. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed. Again, the link to my feedback is to the bottom or in the description, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.